Kara and I were on our way to the Vascular Access Center, probably less than 5 minutes away, when Leo called me and said they can't fit you in until tomorrow at 12:45. Wednesday, September 18th, which was the day that I had a follow-up appointment with Dr. Iggett at 11:45 a.m. So now that meant that I would be without dialysis for over 4 days, basically. And I knew on Tuesday when I found out that I wasn't going to be able to get in until Wednesday that it was going to be a bad day because I was already hurting. So all I tried to do is just sleep through it. And that basically worked. And I made it to my doctor's appointment with Dr. Iggett, where he told me I was unofficially in remission, gave me the update that I told you about earlier. But Dr. Iggett told me I would be getting my official remission declaration at the results of my bone marrow biopsy appointment the following day, where he expected the result to be confirmed, which it was. Dr. Iggett was so late for his appointment that day, and remember, I had a procedure scheduled for 12:45. He didn't get into the room till 12:35. Whoops. I was also scheduled for dialysis at 2:30 p.m. That was tight for the surgery that I was going to be getting, but now I'm going to be late for the surgery. And we had a lot to talk about with Dr. Iggett. There's something else going on that I'll get into at another point. I don't know when. I don't even know if it's worth getting into. But it does dove into the whole pain thing. So I think I will probably make a video about it, but I just don't know when. So I got through the appointment. We get in the car. I call the Vascular Access Center and tell them that I'm going to be late. They say no problem. When we got there and found out how long it was going to take to do the surgery, it was very clear that I was going to be late to the dialysis appointment as well. So I called them while I was waiting to get in for my appointment. And I go in and I meet Dr. Kazi, who is going to be my surgeon. Explains everything. Sometimes the catheters work for a week. Sometimes they work for 6 months. You just never know. And he wanted to say once again that the CVC that I have is quote unquote no bueno. Everybody is trying to get me to get a permanent catheter. I do not want that for very obvious reasons, that I do not want to permanently be on dialysis. And getting that is an acceptance that I'm going to be on permanent dialysis. I don't accept that. So my nurse this time was Jenny. She was very nice. Michael again was there. I cannot remember who the other surgical person was. I don't think it was Mike. I also heard a woman's voice I was not introduced to. I have no idea who that was. And I go into the operating room. Again, this time I don't have any time for sedation because I got to get right into dialysis. I can't wait around. I need to get the full dialysis session if I can get it, because I have not had dialysis in over 4 days and I'm really feeling it. So I go in, same thing. They tell me it's going to be lidocaine. All the same pre-op procedures. Everything is just fine. Dr. Kazi comes in. He goes, 3, 2, 1, poke. Stabs me so hard with the lidocaine, I couldn't believe it. It hurt bad. And from that point on, it pretty much set the tone for the procedure. That it was not going to be an easy procedure for me. It was painful and long. It felt like it took about 25 minutes to get done from start to the ending of the stitches. And I felt the vast majority of it. Before the last part of the catheter was being put in, he gave me 4 more, what felt like little lidocaine shots, 3 or 4 more. All of them were painful. And during the procedure, I kept feeling pokes as I was going on. And I kept saying, I'm feeling that. Oh, we'll get you more lidocaine. They did not get me more lidocaine. So I just eventually just had to suck it up. and get it done and get through it. And then hope that the thing would work. But it was painful. It hurt. It was not like getting the procedure with Dr. Ribeiro at all. I go to dialysis, and it works perfectly. Great flow. Everything is great. And 10 days later, on a Saturday, all the signs that were happening, that the last catheter was failing, started happening again. It meant I was about to have to get another procedure. Pretty sure we got through the Saturday thing. We ended it a little bit early, but I was told that I needed to get another replacement, which was extremely bad news for me. So Leal said, after he called me after I got out of dialysis, he asked if I could go today, that Saturday. I said no. I said, just make it for Monday afternoon if you can, because I hadn't eaten and I wanted to try to have some semblance of a weekend. So Leal made it for that Monday afternoon. And I go in and I meet Donnell, who is my nurse that day. Michael and Mike are back, and I have two new doctors, Dr. V and Dr. Santos. And Dr. Santos did the procedure. Dr. V was supervising. Dr. Santos is new. And because of my experience with Dr. Kazi and the pain that I went through, I said, I want to be sedated for this one. And it's called conscious sedation. It's Versed and fentanyl, and you're awake the whole time. So I go into the procedure. Everything is set up exactly the same as before. Dr. Santos comes in. She does, unfortunately, do a countdown. Hey, doctors, stop doing countdowns when you do the shot. Just say a little poke is coming, and then poke. Don't do 3, 2, 1. It makes you think about it. Come on. Why is this so hard? But Dr. Santos does the fentanyl and the Versed. She puts it through my catheter, which is apparently so blocked that they couldn't aspirate it. But she was able to get it in there. Even though it didn't feel like I had any pain medication going in, apparently it had, because when she did the Lido shot, I felt the poke, but it really wasn't a big deal. And the entire procedure really wasn't a big deal. Apparently she did really good stitches too. The procedure was not a big deal. And I went to dialysis on Tuesday. Everything worked fine. Then on Thursday, this is just this past Thursday. That was last Monday, that procedure, September 30th. But Tuesday, dialysis went great. Thursday, in the last 10 minutes of dialysis, my blood started clotting, showing signs of the exact same issue that I had on the previous 2 catheters that failed. They got me through the treatment. It wasn't a big deal. But I was extremely nervous going into Saturday, this past Saturday, because I was having a treatment week for chemotherapy. And I have tremendously bad side effects on Saturdays into Sundays, which meant that I could not get a procedure done on Saturday and that I did not have time on Monday to get a procedure, and that I needed to do anything I could to get through that dialysis session without this thing failing. A lot of prayer. And those prayers were answered because there were no issues inside that dialysis. They did 1 flush of the system. They were planning on doing multiple flushes, but there were no issues inside that. And I had horrible side effects this weekend. The worst I've ever had on the treatment. But I made it through that dialysis session, which was extremely important, and I thank Yahweh for that. I thank Jesus for that. Because that was a very scary couple of days, wondering if I was going to have to get another procedure after what ended up happening just after my second treatment with the new catheter. My dialysis yesterday on Tuesday went fine. I'm hoping the catheter is settled and that I don't have to get one again, period. If you want to add any prayers for that, that's the thing I'd like you to pray about. So if you're keeping count, since the last time I saw you, I have had 4 CVCs put into my chest. I'm on CVC number 5 related to dialysis right now. Like I said a minute ago, I'm hoping there won't be another. Thanks again for joining me on my multiple myeloma journey.